Okay. Uh, Welcome to today's session. Today is, I believe, day 9, right? Because we had Diwali in between. Today would be day 9 of the session. And after today, from next week onwards, that is from Monday onwards, my colleague, Mr. Sharad Chandra, would be taking the sessions because I have some other commitments. Okay, so let's move on with this. List comprehensions. What do you mean by that? List comprehension means you're going to compress, or you would try to condense the number of lines of code that you write in Python. Okay. So here, for instance, what we are doing is we are, taking all these special characters, symbols, and then you're creating a string of that. And using this assignment operator, we are assigning it to an object or a variable called symbols, in which you're going to store all these symbols. And in the next line, you're creating a dummy object or variable called quotes. It is dummy, meaning you're not storing anything in this. You're not storing anything in quotes. And for symbol in symbols, so for each and every symbol, in this symbols, you're saying you want the Unicode code points using an ordinary way, hence it is called as ORD, ordinary manner. So what does that mean? Friends, when you type something on your keyboard, some key on your keyboard, for example, say you're typing D, alphabet D, then this alphabet D has a corresponding ASCII character. ASCII character using which your computer, your operating system understands that the keyword D was typed. Or if you type digit 1, it will have an associated ASCII character using which your operating system understands that you have typed 1. So ASCII characters are meant to identify the corresponding symbols or numbers or alphabets. Okay, so that is what we want to extract now. We want to give these symbols, each of these symbols as an input, and we want to identify the ASCII character or the Unicode code point number from this string and using an ordinary way. And then what do you want to do? You want to append or keep adding it to this object called quotes. So you have quotes which is empty initially. First, you'll go to symbol in symbols. So what you'll do is you'll go to the first symbol in the symbols. You'll try to find the ASCII character or the Unicode code point. And you want to append that to quotes. So within quotes, you'll add that number. Some number would be there, comma. Again, it will go back to this for loop. For symbol in symbols. So once again, it will go to the second symbol in symbols. It will find the Unicode code point using ordinary way. That is why we have ORD. And you're going to append, that means add to this another number associated with this symbol. Then you have a pound symbol. it will go back to this for loop. For symbol and symbols, it will go to this found. And then it will identify the Unicode code point using an ordinary manner, ordinary way, ordinary technique. And then it's going to append it. And then for symbol and symbols, it will once again go here. It will take this. I think it's yen, right, as a symbol. And then again, it will come here. It will calculate the corresponding number, Unicode value. Then it's going to append to quotes. Again, it will go to the for loop. It will go to this euro. It will come up with the number. Then again, it will go to the for loop and it will go to the last symbol and identify a number. And then what are you doing here? You're saying quotes, meaning whatever is there within quotes, you want to display that onto the screen here. And you get all these numbers. This $sign here has a number 36 attached to it, tagged to it. Okay, this is a pound symbol. Probably this is yen, this is euro in that way. Okay. Next, comprehension means ordinary way. In an ordinary way, it is doing it. So here, once again, we are creating an object called symbols, and you're taking all these symbols and putting that in the single quotes. And you're saying you want the Unicode for that symbol, for each symbol. Okay. So what you're doing is you want the Unicode value for each symbol in the symbols. Isn't this much simpler than writing these lines of code? Absolutely. So it is much simpler, right? Rather than writing a for loop and then this colon and then dot append, etc. You're just simplifying it in an even better manner. You're saying you want to find out the Unicode value for every symbol in symbols. So for every symbol that you have here within the symbols, you want that. There we go. Same numbers that you see here, you get here. The only thing is you don't have this. The symbol, you didn't include it here. All right, next. If you write a for loop, how would you write? For I in range of 12 colon, then enter, then if loop. If I, this is percentile symbol 2 is equal to 1. Right? Then you probably end the loop. That's how you write. But those two lines of code can be written using a single line here. So how does it work? Let's see. I, you want to choose I. How do you want to choose I? For I in range of 12 will give you what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Sorry. 1, 2 until, sorry, my bad. 1, 2, 3 until 11. The last number is not considered. And here, you're saying if this I value, percentile 2, would actually give you remainder. 1 divided by 2, is it equivalent to 1? Not really. Okay. 2 divided by 2, is it equal to 1? No, it is, I mean, remainder is 0. 3 divided by 2, if you do this, 2 ones are 2, 1 is your remainder. So is that remainder equal to 1? Yes. So print the result onto the screen. Yeah. So 1 also would be printed because I mean, if you have it like this, 2 zeros are 0 and then you get remainder 1, right? So from that perspective, 1 also gets printed. Then you'll have 1, 2, 3, all the way until 11. So it will keep looking at each and every number. It will divide each and every number with 2, and it will look at the remainder. If the remainder is 1, it will print the results. Because those are the values which it is going to save in this object. And when you say print that, it's going to display the results onto the screen. Next, we have dictionary comprehension. So let's see how to solve this. The interesting thing to solve actually. Okay. So we are creating an object called numbers, and you're assigning all these values. Okay, and then you can say print of that and see what are the numbers which it is going to select. And then you're also creating a dictionary here. And you're assigning flower brackets. You're not putting anything into that. So that is null. There is going to be nothing in this dictionary. And you're going to add some numbers to this dictionary. Using what logic? Let's see. For n in numbers, this is a usual way of writing the code, okay? For n in numbers, if m percentile 2, which would actually give you a remainder, is equal to 0, if the remainder is equal to 0, okay, process, this is what you're saying. You're saying new underscore dictionary underscore for of n, because each element has a value, is equal to n double star 2 would actually do n raised to the power 2. And then you want to print out the results onto the screen. So let's see, let me run it and then show you. Okay. So, and also let me do one more thing, because print of numbers, I just want to show you the numbers which get printed. Okay, anyways, it's telling a range of 0 to 10. Now, first it will take 0. Is 0 divided by 2? Is the remainder 0? Yes, 2 zeros are 0 and remainder is 0. Fine. For this 0, it is satisfying. Then what do you want to do? You want to do 0 raised to the power 2. This will be n raised to the power 2. 0 raised to the power 2 is 0. So you want to print that. Come on. First, I mean, that's the index value. Okay. This is the index number value, index number 0, because this would give you 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, my bad. In the previous code, I told it starts from 1. My bad. It starts from 0. Okay. And then the last number is ignored. This has an index number 0, index number 1, index number 2, so on and so forth. Okay. These are the actual numbers which are printed, and these are the index positions. Okay, so 0 percentile 2 means when you divide 0 by 2, would you get a remainder 0? Here, yes, remainder would be 0. So you put it here. N square would be 0 square. So new dictionary for 0 will be 0. You print that. Then when you go to the next value, which is 1, 1 divided by 2, is it equivalent to 0? Not really. 2 zeros are 0 and you get 1 there. Okay, or you put a point, take 0, 5s are 10, then you get 0. But that's not what we are talking about, right? So ideally, 2 divided, you have 1, n is equal to 1 divided by 2, zeros are 0, you get remainder 1. Remainder is not 0. So it will not go to this. Again, it will go to this if loop. It will go to if n. So it will go to the next n, right? So in fact, it will go to this for loop for n in numbers. Which n now? This n. So it will take 2. 2 divided by 2. 2 ones are 2. Remainder will be 0. So if the remainder is 0, take that value, which is 2, square it. 2 2s are 4. So for 2, for this index value 2, the corresponding value that you want is 4. Then it will go to the for loop for n in numbers for 3. Okay, n will be 3. 3 divided by 2. 3 divided by 2. 2 ones are 2. Remainder is 1. Remainder is not 0. So it will not get executed. Again, it will go to the for loop for n in numbers. It will go to the next n. 2 divided by 4. 2 2s are 4. Remainder is 0. The moment remainder is 0, it will take that index value, which is 4. Corresponding index value is 4. And it will square that value. 4 square is 16. So on and so forth. But this is one way of writing your code. There is a comprehensive way of writing it in this way, which is much simpler. So you're creating a dictionary. When you have flower brackets, it's nothing but a dictionary that gets created. So you're saying for every n, you want to square the number. And for how many n's? For n in numbers. So you have numbers here, okay, which will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And for n in numbers, this is n equal to 0, n equal to 1, n equal to 2, n equal to 3, n equal to 4, so on and so forth. For numbers, all these are stored in numbers. If n divided by 2 or n percentile 2, meaning remainder, if you divide n by 2, you'll get a remainder. If remainder equal to 0, then do this activity, is what you're saying, which is pretty simple. And then you're assigning the results to this. When you print out the results here, you would get exactly the same thing, n colon n square, n colon n square, n colon n square, so on and so forth. Okay, then you're creating a dictionary. A1, B2, C3, D4, E5. This is another comprehensive way of writing your code. So what are you doing here? You're saying dictionary means key and values. Simple. Key, value, key, value, key, value, key, value, key, value, key value pairs. So saying multiply key with 2, multiply v with 2 for every key value pair in this dictionary 1 dot items. Dot items would actually take every item. This is item 1. item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5. Key value pair becomes one item. Okay, and you're saying go to each key value pair. This is a key, this is a value. And multiply key with 2, V with 2. When you multiply key with 2, it becomes A. Single A becomes 2A's. And then when you multiply V with 2, you get 2. 1 into 2 is 2. Then you have another key value pair, B and 2. B is key, 2 is value. When you multiply B with 2, you get B and B. When you multiply V with 2, you get 4. So on and so forth. And then we are storing the results in this. And you're saying print the results onto the screen. Okay. Then you say zip and unzip. What are these zip and unzip functions? How do these functions work? Let's understand. We are creating a list. You're calling that as name, and you have 4 elements within that. Manjeet, Nikhil, Shambhavi, Astha, in that way. And then you're creating another object called roll number, and you're assigning 4, 1, 3, and 2 to it. Then you're creating another object called marks, and you have 40, 50, 60, 70 in that way. When you say zip and give all these 3, it is going to zip the results so that you can map it. So let me tell you how it works. You are putting that in map. Then what you're saying is set the mapped values and then store it in map. Okay. Then you say print the zipped result. I mean, you give space or do not give space, it doesn't matter in this IDE. Okay. When you say print, the zipped result is and print map. So what would be stored in this? Okay, let's run it and understand. There we go. So what it is doing is the zip result is colon, and this is getting printed in the next line. Very important. See what's happening here. Colon, and this result print map is getting printed onto the next line. And here you're saying Shambhavi 3 and 60. It's creating kind of a dictionary, right? Or I mean, you're creating a set basically, and set is unordered. You know that already. Set is not ordered. So it's taking name, roll number, marks of all the positions, of all the different positions. So this is the third position here, third position and third position, which are coming out here. Next, Manjit is first position. First position is 4 in roll number. First position is 40 in marks. So all those first positions are mapped. Then all the second positions are mapped. Then all the last positions are mapped. This is how things are mapped. And you have the results out on the screen. All right, next let's do unzipping. There is a difference, friends. Here, you're not using this. You're not using this, right? What will happen if we use this is something that I'm going to tell you. But before that, let me show you the quiz questions for today. Friends, in the previous quiz, not many people have won it. Forget about many people. 0 people got it right. Okay, not sure why, what's happening here, but then These are the set of questions. I would highly recommend you guys to get these correct. Okay, and stand a chance to win Amazon coupon. It's a great way of learning as well. Okay, so here are the quiz questions. Please feel free to attempt and stand a chance to win. Practice, practice, and practice. Practice is the only thing which will help you win. Yeah, I'll use this as an example, friends, on how your resume should not be. Okay, a few of the mistakes that we have done here is, look at this. After A, you're giving some space, but after B, there is less space. After C, there is more space. The one reason that I can think about these spaces is maybe something to do with the code, or maybe not. It's an incorrect way that we have given. And Python, P should always be in uppercase. Okay, so these will help you a lot, friends, when you create your resume also. And here, if I were to draw a straight line like that, S is, having more spaces from A, C is having more spaces, B and D are having less spaces, right? That's a unprofessional way of giving things. Same is the case with this also, 4. And then same is the case with 5. Look at this, more spaces are given as opposed to this, and then with respect to last bullet point, it's all haywire. It should not be like that is what I'm saying. And in Python, P should be in always uppercase. Anyways, these are a few things that you might want to avoid on your resumes. Here, that is still okay, right? But on your resumes, please ensure that you don't do it. Okay. Then here, what we are doing is we are unzipping the values. When you say zip star of month, can someone tell me what do you mean by star and then a value here? What does that mean? It means something. After star, if you give a keyword, what does that mean? Anyone? In the last module or in the previous session, we discussed about this. Come on, I expect at least one person to reply to this. Variable arguments. Absolutely, Raju. Thank you so much. Variable arguments. We have variable arguments. Okay. Anyway, so if you say print, either give space or don't give. On this ID, it doesn't matter, friends. But just to maintain consistency, I'm ensuring that there's no space. You're saying the zipped result is, or the unzipped result is, in the new line, you want the next line to be in the new line. In the new line, it says the name list is, if you see here, the zipped result is, and when you print this, it's coming in the next line. This is coming here, and this is coming here. But when you type this, the name list is, when you say end without a space, then this print also gets printed on the same line. The name gets printed on the same line. Look at that. Chambi Manjit Nikhil Asta got printed. Next, you're saying, so this will give you this. This line also will give the same thing, and this line also will give you the same thing. Then the print the roll number list is this. All those were mapped in this, right? You zipped it and put it in this mapped function. To unzip also, you use the same function. And the results are going here. Okay. Same is the case with the marks list and the marks. Okay. That is how it gets printed. All right. So let me open the next lines of code and we will talk more about the next lines of code. All right, I have it here now. Okay. So built-in sort functions. Okay, built-in sort functions. So you're creating an object, a list basically, called animals. And you have dog, cat, sheep, goat, elephant. You just type that. If you say sorted animals, it's going to sort the animals in ascending order with alphabet. What do you mean by that? If I were to run it, say run anyways. You have cat, dog, elephant, goat, and sheep. That's the output. And it's sorted based on alphabet. C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S. So alphabetically, that's how you get alphabet. So that's how they are printed. When you say now print these in descending order, and if you were to run it, what happens? Let's see. Printed that. And it printed these in reverse order. Sorted animals. Animals contains list of animals here. And then when you say reverse equal to 2, it will be descending order. There we go. First S, then goat, then elephant, then dog, then cat. It will be exactly the reverse of ascending order. Next. When you say sorted animals, reverse equal to true, but then I want to sort it based on this keyword called length. Now, can someone tell me what would be printed onto the screen? Let's see who will get it right. Give a try, friends. Give a try, and you'll be able to answer. I'll give you a quick half a minute to answer this, please. Let's give a try after some time. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, a lot of you all are getting it right. So let me run it and then show you how it gets printed. So what happens is it will print in reverse order only. So this is the reverse order when you say just reverse. But when you say keyword should be length, then it will pick up that word which has the maximum length. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this gets printed. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This gets printed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then goat gets printed. And dog and cat, yeah, 3, 3. But then you're printing it in the reverse order. So it'll be descending order. After alphabet D, you get alphabet C. Next. When you just say sorted animals, keyword equal to length. Now, how does it print? Anyone who wants to take a try at this? Bharat, Aksha, the code room, my dear friend, I'm not sure what your name is, but you named yourself as code room. You guys got it right, but yep, can you please try? Okay, so let me run it. When you just run it this way, is it going to print the different elements in ascending order or descending order, friends? Which order does it print? If you see here, this is how it prints. Okay. And when you're saying keyword equal to length, it actually prints in the descending order with respect to length of the character. But in these two, dog and cat, since it has to be in descending order, what comes first, D or C? D comes first. So if you want to print in descending order here, it will be dog, after that it will be cat. Then obviously, it is based on keyword equal to length. Okay, so you'll get goat, which has 4, this has 5, this has 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. That's the length. This is how it is going to print, friends. If you're saying sorted animals, keyword equal to length, reverse order, this is how it prints. If you remove this reverse order, this is exactly how it prints the results. That's the thin difference. When you say reverse order, 8 character long is this. This is 5 character long. This is 4. Within 3 and 3, it's again printing in the ascending order. Okay, here it is in descending order. That is the reason why it is first printing dog and then cat. Okay. In ascending order, it's like this. In descending order, it's D, after that C. Okay. All right. Next, we have different other ways of sorting the various elements. When you just say animals.sort, it will just directly sort the animals based on the alphabets. C, D, E, G, S. Okay, A, B, C, D in that sequence. All right. Now we have augmented assignments with sequences. You're creating a list called 1, 2, and 3. Then when you say ID of L list will be given an ID, because when you create a list or anything, it will go get saved onto your memory. In memory, there will be different sectors on which it has to go and save itself. And where is it getting saved is determined based on the ID which is assigned to that. So if I were to just run this and show you the results, what we are doing is we are creating a list of 1, 2, 3. We are printing the list ID along with the list elements. So the ID value is some number which is getting saved on that particular computer, on that particular server, followed by the list of values. Next, when you say this, what this does is list equal to list into 2. And when you say print, it gives the ID, and then it says list comma, since list is equal to list into 2, this list gets repeated twice. But bear in mind that the list ID is not getting changed. List ID is remaining the same, though the list values are changed. This because list is mutable. You can make changes to a list. Then if I were to run this, if you create a tuple, if you have squared brackets, it is a list. If you have the regular brackets, it is a tuple. Is tuple mutable or immutable? Anyone? Is tuple mutable or immutable? Tuple is? What is tuple, guys? Mutable or immutable? Come on. Immutable, meaning you cannot make any changes once created. So you're creating a tuple and you're saying print the ID number of tuple along with the tuple elements. This is what it prints. It is giving you the ID number and the tuple values. And when you say, okay, if you say, this is an abbreviated format to write t equal to t into 2. So you are repeating the tuple twice. This is fine. If it's t, that is fine. But when you print the tuple ID, you get a different ID number because you cannot make changes to a created tuple. It is immutable. Okay, list is mutable. This is immutable. You cannot make changes. Hence, there is a different ID which gets created. If you run this, it is going to create a different memory space, and then it will assign a different ID number to that. Next, handling missing keys. If I say we will initialize a dictionary, so we are creating a dictionary. Remember these things, friends. List would have square brackets. Tuple will have the regular brackets, and dictionary will have flower brackets. So if I were to run this, it throws an error. Why? Because key value pair is created. Key value pair is created. What are you saying here? The value associated with C is, and then you're saying, go to this D. Within D, go to the key, which is C. But do you have the key here? Key in key value pair, do you see C somewhere? No. So it throws an error for you. Okay, it throws an error. However, if you don't want such an error to be thrown on the screen, if you want to give a different exception handler, when you get error, sometimes it makes sense to give a meaningful error on the screen. As opposed to throwing this, people will be like, okay, key error, oh my God, what happened here? Really, I'm not able to understand is what you might feel. However, you have a library within Python, which is called as collections. What is a library? Library is collection of code and functions which some other person has written, and you're trying to reuse those functions as is. If you want to reuse, then install that library first. And most of these libraries are pre-installed when you install Python software. So all you need to do is invoke it. When you invoke, it's collection of code or collection of functions. You import collections. If you stop here, if you don't say as CL, what does it do? It expects you to use the complete name along with the function name. For example, collections complete name dot default dictionary. So you have to write a lengthy line here, dot default dictionary. But if you import that using some shortcut, if you import that as say CL, you can give any name. You're giving some meaningful name as CL. Then you can simply write CL dot default dictionary. This one is. And then within the brackets, you're saying lambda key not available. Okay, lambda function is called as nameless function. Are you giving any name to this function? Not really. And you cannot reuse it. And is used only in that specific line of code. Only in that specific line of code it runs. Why do you want to create a function if you don't want to use it anywhere else? For example, define ABC colon, and then you write some loop, etc. So this ABC is a function that you're creating, right? Why do you create it in that way? Because this function, you want to reuse it elsewhere. You want to reuse it in some other portions of your code. But then, if you want a function which has to be executed only once, say you don't want to use it anywhere else, That is when this nameless function called lambda is used. And you're saying key not available in single quotes. And you're storing it in this. Some DAFD, some default, some object name is what you're creating. And then you're saying you want to assign A in this a number 1. You want to, create B and assign it a value 2. Now, if you say print the value of A is, and if you go to this DEFD of A, it will print 1. This end equal to this will ensure that in a single line, both these print statements are printed. And then here you're saying the value of C is something. DFD of C. C is not defined. You have only defined A and B. Did you define C anywhere? No. You did not define. We did not define. If we do not define it, ideally, it should throw an error like this. Because here also, what are you doing? You're defining these two, but you're saying you want this D of C. What is the value associated with C? But C you didn't define here. And hence you got this error. Okay, that is the reason why we're getting the error here. If we don't want such an error, if we want some meaningful error for collecting the errors, then you can give lambda function like this. You can say default dictionary. If these are called, you print it as is. If there is anything else which is not even defined, if you're asking a value for that, then it will say key not available. Okay, there we go. Let me run it. Look at that. So print the value of A is this print statement. It's printing here because of this end. You don't want any space. If you give a space, or if you don't give this, it will print in the next line. Okay, but here it says the value of C is, and the C value you never defined here. You didn't initialize the values. So it will go to this lambda value, lambda function, and give this key not available. This is how you collect the errors. This is more meaningful, right? This is a more meaningful way of collecting the errors as opposed to getting an error like this. These are all once again the best practices. Okay. A simple lambda function, x into x. So this is not like your define function, define ABC. You're not doing this. If you do this, you can reuse this ABC in multiple other locations, but this stores memory. Right? But here it's a single line. It's called as nameless. It will only run here. It will not run anywhere else. So you're assigning that to S, and when you say S of 12, you're doing 12 into 12, which will give you 144. Okay, then you have a function called as math. Okay, so I think one of our friend, Deepak Butler, one day is unable to redeem the coupon. All right, so we'll let you know. For warnings also you can. Okay, yes. So our team will get in touch with you. Basically, we have our social media team lead, Anjali, who is coordinating these things, and she will make a note of this Deepak Batlavande, and then she will ensure that that issue is resolved. Don't you worry. Okay. Here we are creating a list once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what you're doing is you're first mapping all these validation values onto X. And you're saying X is X into 2. So let me run it. So it's first mapping all these values 1, 2, 3, 4 onto X. And it's saying 1 means 1 into 2. Then for the second value, it's 2 into 2, 4. For this third value, it is 3 into 2, 6. Fourth value is 4 into 2. Fifth value is 5 into 2. Sixth value is 6 into 2, which is 12. That is how it prints the results. Okay, thank you so much for saying that. This is helpful, I'm sure it is, right? And here, what are we doing? Map the values to a string. So take all these list of elements. All these are list of elements, list of values, and you're converting them to string. You're mapping them to string. So all these are given in single quote, meaning they're string elements now. Okay, this is how you can make use of your map function. Then you have filter function. Filter will filter out. For example, say you have an Excel sheet and you have a column called as gender. If you filter this and select only female, male gets filtered out and you'll be able to see only female entries pertaining to female, right? So that is exactly how this filter function works. What are you doing here? You're saying these are the different elements of the list. And then you're saying, take each value and then percentile 2, meaning is the remainder 0 or 1? Okay. If you get a remainder 0, that means it's false. 1 divided by 2, 2, 0, 0, remainder is 1. So that gets printed onto the screen. 2 divided by 2, 2 ones 2, remainder is 0. 0 means false. So this remainder, there is no remainder when you divide 2 by 2. So it is false. Any 0 values are called as false values. They won't get printed. When you take 3 and divide it by 2, 2 ones 2, and then remainder is 1. So there is a remainder, true, so that 3 gets printed. When you take 4, 4 divided by 2 would give you 0. So 0 is false, that won't get printed. 5, 5 divided by 2 would give you a remainder 1, so that gets printed. 6 divided by 2 will give you a remainder 0, means false, that won't get printed. So that's how your filter function works. All right, so I will stop here, and from here onwards, you will learn in the subsequent sessions. Next session will be from Monday onwards, all these sessions. 2 more weeks are left out, Monday to Friday and Monday to Friday. Daily 1 hour from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. IST. Please ask your friends, your relatives, whoever might get benefited to please join the session and make best use of that. Thank you so much, and keep practicing and keep learning. From Monday onwards, my colleague Sharath would be taking the session. It was a pleasure interacting with you all, and thank you so much, and have a happy weekend. Thank you, guys.